All right, folks, hot topic today. Great to be back. We missed last week, sent out a deal saying we'll take some questions. Didn't get a lot of questions, but we were on the road, Colorado Springs at a leadership summit. So excited to kind of breach this subject again today. I know when I do coaches clinics and talk to parents and things like that, and I say, what are some of the biggest issues in sport? One of the things we always hear is we hear parents. We've addressed that a little bit, but one of the other things we always hear is we hear this issue of participation trophies. Now, listen, we're going to hit a tough subject matter today. Me personally, I'm not against participation trophies. If I'm for first place trophies, I'm not going to be against participation trophies. If you play sports in America today, you're getting a participation trophy because we have multiple state championships. We have multiple World Series for every age division. You are not winning the championship. So for those that say, hey, I'm really against participation trophies, I know James Harrison, Jeff Walsh from Louisville University really kind of went off on some of this stuff. I do not think that the problem in sports is the result of participation trophies. Here's why. I believe most of you who are out there listening are for participation trophies. Here's the question. I was with my good friend Clint Powell last week doing a podcast. You can go to During the Break podcast and listen to that. But I was with Clint, and Clint brought up this subject of participation trophies. And I said, Clint, I'm calling false truth. You believe in participation trophies. Now, here's why I know we believe in participation trophies. Because each of us that wasn't the valedictorian at our high school but received a high school diploma really believe in participation trophies. Because here's the deal. If we really were that competitive, I mean, we were like all in, like we like to act like we are, here's what would have happened. As a senior in high school, when we didn't finish at the top of our class, we would have gone to our principal, said, no thanks, I can't take my diploma. And we would have gone back, repeated the next year, and we would have stayed in school until we finished in first place, which some of us would still be there today. That includes me. So listen, we all get participation trophies. Here's the deal with participation trophies, or trophies in general. The problem with trophies is not their placement. All right, if you're taking notes, write this down. The problem with trophies is not their placement. The problem with trophies is the pedestal we put them on. Here is what Heath Esslinger believes today. I am 100% convinced of this. First place trophies in little kids' lives are way more dangerous than participation trophies. First place trophies, when I see a group of 7-year-old girls with all their hands in the middle, all right, and they're taking pictures of their hands because they have diamond state championship rings on at 7 years old, here's what I think. Problem. Because what we're doing is we're creating this false sense of accomplishment. Now, people that are against participation trophies would say, well, that's what we're doing with participation trophies. Listen. My kids have gotten plenty of participation trophies, and they're decently athletic. Unfortunately, they picked me as their dad, so they have some things to overcome. But my kids have gotten plenty of participation trophies, and here's what happens. Those participation trophies, ribbons, whatever, stay in our car for about 4 days, and then after about 4 days, I get frustrated and I throw them all in the trash. Here's what we do with first place trophies. They stay in our car for 4 or 5 days, and after a while, I get frustrated because our car's a mess, and here's what I do. I throw them all in the trash. The issue is not the placement of the trophy. The issue is the pedestal we put the trophy on. If your kid gets a participation trophy, who cares? Just don't make a big deal out of it. It's not they're going to get some. Most of our kids are going to get a participation trophy for graduating in high school. 3 years ago, I did Ironman Chattanooga. 2.4 mile swim, 116 mile bike, 4 miles longer than the normal. Chattanooga's a little bit longer. 26.2 mile run. I crossed the finish line in 10 hours and 51 minutes. That's way off of first place. As I'm running down the chute in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and there are people cheering, there's people everywhere, and I crossed the finish line, here's what they said. Heath Esslinger from McDonald, Tennessee, you're an Ironman. If I really was against participation trophies, here's what I would have done. I would have gone to the announcer and said, hey, dude, mark my name off. I don't want the medal. I don't want the plaque. I don't want the gear. I didn't finish first place. I'm going to go hit the roads. I'm going to train harder, and I'm going to come back next time. And if I can win it, I'll take the trophy. All of us as adults take participation trophies. College football coaches that say they're against participation trophies, I'm sure they cash the check for their bonus if they just make the college football playoffs. All right. Even though they don't finish first, they made the playoffs, or they won their conference, or they finished in the top 10 or whatever. So here's my challenge to you. Before you start preaching against participation trophies, take a step back, evaluate, and say, is the problem really participation trophies, or is the problem the pedestal we put the trophies on? Because if you're puffing your kids up because they won a 7-year-old first place trophy, then you're doing just as much harm as the kid playing upward. I'm all for upwards. Who cares? Go play upwards for 3 or 4 years. And if you're a good athlete, guess what? You'll still make the team later on. So I love in former days, like biblical days and things like that, we love the Olympics. You know why? It took place every 4 years. In biblical days, they had this thing called the Isthmian Games that took place every 2 years. Now, in those days, listen, it wasn't participation trophies because you probably only got to compete every 2 years or every 4 years. So it was a really big deal. We compete Tuesday night, Thursday night. We play 7 games on Saturday. I mean, it is crazy how much we compete, yet we're seeing a lack of competitiveness. So to me, participation trophies, it's something to blame the problem on. I say the problem's more probably dealing with lack of work ethic because we don't make them do things at home, lack of work ethic because they don't have jobs. We just value the wrong thing. So as you go about and you evaluate this whole idea of participation trophies, listen, I don't really think it's a problem. I got a high school diploma and I was way below first. I got 5th place as a sophomore in the state. I stood on the podium and took my medal. All of us have probably gotten that stuff. So let's not have an expectation of a 9-year-old that we don't have for ourselves. So if your kid gets a participation trophy, listen, don't talk about it. Tell them great job for playing. If they get a first place trophy, don't talk about it so much. Quit posting it on Facebook all the time. Don't puff them up. All right. To me, I believe every kid that plays a sport should get a trophy. It's an intrinsic trophy like resiliency, character, things like that, empathy, patience, sacrifice, all those things. That it's not a medal. All my trophies, the few I got, are in a cardboard box sitting in my parents' barn to this day. So, man, I hope this helps a little bit. There's a lot of you on right now. I would love to answer a question if there are any questions out there. Tony Williams on here, Matt Hamilton, any questions about participation trophies? Come on, let's go real quick. Any on there? We asked if you guys had any questions last week. But if you're out and about, you tell people Heath Esslinger is not against participation trophies. I'm not. I'm against trophies in general. I don't think you should get a trophy probably till you get to high school. When I see little 8-year-olds with a state championship ring because their parents signed them up and paid for them to be on a good team, it bothers me. I had to work really hard for mine, a lot of hours. So no questions. No one's brave enough to ask a question. Chad, we got any questions? Can I pin Travis Adams? No, he whooped my tail, Matt Hamilton. Does this pertain to eating contest participation trophies? Patrick Keys, you got it. Tony Williams asks, how do you change the mindset? How do you change the mindset? We've got to quit praising the pedestal. All right, coaches at high school, college level, here's what we say. You got to love the process, trust the process. You got to embrace the process. Well, then here's what let's do. Let's start letting them early understand the process. When you play more games than you practice, what you're telling the kid is the process don't matter. It's just the outcome. I believe you should practice 80% of the time, compete 20% of the time. I also probably don't think you should really compete until you're 10 years old because newsflash, they don't know what competing is at 10 years old. All right. Do they hate to lose? Yes, because they're babies, but they don't absolutely understand how to compete. So hold them out, let them practice, play, develop the skills, let it mean something to them. You know how you get someone to compete? You make unbelievable sacrifices. That's why in the Bible, when Paul writes, 1 Corinthians 9, do you not know that in a race, all the runners compete, do some research on that passage, what they went through training wise. When they showed up, they competed because it was probably their only chance in life to ever get a chance to step foot in that stadium. So when you compete Tuesday, Thursday, and 5 times on Saturday, it's not competing. All right. You can't be here that many times in your life, especially not when you're 8 years old. So how do we change the mindset? We got to do some things differently and start actually praising the process. What do you tell your kid when they don't make the team? Listen, God's got better things for you. All right. That's a tough one. I think it's a struggle that's necessary for kids to walk through. And I think as a parent, you got to be delicate, and we can never let them think that their identity and value is based on a team. Because first of all, at some point, we're all going to get cut from a team because we're probably not going to play college athletics or in the NFL or whatever. So, Rachel Robbins Farrell, I know your kid is elite. So, hey man, this has been super, super fun. Again, go back, make sure you got your mindset right when it comes to participation trophies. I truly don't believe they're the problem. I believe the problem is the fact that we put the trophies on the wrong pedestal. It's not their placement. So one more here. Sad is what Todd has made me so many parents we have played with over the years. Listen, it's all about perspective. It's all about perspective. So any other questions? You guys that just joined, go back and watch. Hey, let me ask you this. Share this content. Share this content. We want to get it out there. Big event, November 5th here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Parent seminar coming up right here at Silverdale Baptist Church. You can go online to sign up. Shoot me a DM, and I will get you the link to sign up. But 2 things we always want you to remember when you leave here, because there's 2 people we really want to impact: the coach and the parent, because you're the ones who have leadership over the young person. Coaches, coach them hard, but love them harder. Parents, be their parent. Quit trying to be their agent. All right. Train them up in the way they should go. Develop their character. Develop their spiritual foundation. You'll give them the best chance they have at athletics or academics or whatever. So thanks for tuning in this week. We'll bring you something next week as well. Send us questions, messages, whatever. We would love to talk about what you want to discuss. So thanks for FCA Wrestling, FCA for allowing me the privilege to do this each and every week. See you guys. That was